As a new YouTuber, you have a lot of things that you have to think about. You got to think about, should I be uploading shorts to my YouTube channel? Should I be uploading long form content? Should I be doing live streams? How often should I post to my community feed? Should I be doing all of these things together? We got to think about if we should be uploading to YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest. We got to think about all of these things, all of that while having a job or going to school, and also maybe running a business and trying to manage your social life. All of those things are moving parts that we have to keep in focus so that we can grow in 2024. But if you're not a full-time content creator, you need to make sure that you are using your time wisely, right? And that you're doing the right things, because it's really easy to hop onto YouTube or really any social media platforms, any social media platform, and spend tons of time just spinning your wheels on busy things, but not things that are actually going to move the needle for you. So because of that, when it comes to YouTube, it's not luck. It's a way of doing things. It's the approach that you take. It's the intention that you put behind what it is that you're doing. It's your plan and how you plan things out in terms of, I'm going to publish this, then I'm going to publish this because this will help bring people back to the channel and so on. So because of that, I just want to talk to you about those right ways to do things so that you're not depending on luck, so that you're not wasting your time, and so that you can get the results that you actually want to get in the new year. So let's have a conversation about what you should focus on, what works, and the approach that you should be taking for 2024. Now, just a heads up, if you are hanging out here during the stream, we are going to have a Q&A once we get to the end of this. And at any time, if you have a question, feel free to drop it in the chat, but they won't be addressed until we get into the Q&A portion of this. If you are watching on the replay, of course, you can just kind of move around here a little bit if you like. But what I recommend that you do, because of the information that we're getting ready to share here, is I recommend that you just listen to this in the background. If you don't have the time to listen to it and you can multitask, I recommend that you do that because the information that is going to be shared today will help you get better results in 2024. So without further ado, the very first thing that I just want to mention really quick before we get into, the details here is making sure that you get your channel up to speed for 2024. So YouTube has introduced some new settings like the For You on your channel page. So you may or may not have noticed that. So right now, if you go to your YouTube channel page, you're going to see a new section right at the very top of that channel page, and it's called the For You section. Now, how that works is YouTube's recommendation system knows the content that people are watching. They know the content that people are choosing not to watch and so on. And as a part of that, they know the best content on your channel that would be a good fit for the people that are interacting with your content. So what you want to make sure that you are thinking about is like, okay, this For You section right here, this is YouTube recommending content from my YouTube channel to people that are interacting with my YouTube channel so that they can increase the likelihood of that person continuing to engage with the platform. So make sure that if you do want that turned on, make sure that it is on. Also, make sure that you have the right content focused in that particular For You section. For me personally, on my page, I removed my live streams from that, and I removed my shorts from that, because when somebody lands on that page, I want them to be presented the video content, because that's where people can get immediate value from what it is that I'm doing. So I encourage you to do the same, to go in there and just focus it on the content that you think is the best fit for a new person that's interacting with your YouTube channel, right? Because, if somebody's already engaged, they know you put out good content, they're going to put out a little bit more energy to find what they need. But you want to make sure that you do make it super easy for the new people. So when they come into your YouTube channel, that they are getting recommended the right content that showcases, some of your best stuff that you put out as it relates to, YouTube and what they think they would be likely to watch. So as a part of this also, and I always make sure to bring this one up because it is a, hold on, we've got a thing here really quick. Give me 1 second. I need to ban somebody here because they're doing promotional stuff, and this is not a promotional thing. All right. So, yeah, so the next thing you want to do as a new content creator is you want to make sure that you do have playlists on your channel page. And let me go to my channel here real quick, and I'll show you exactly what I mean here. So when it comes to your channel page, and we're going to get into like content strategy and things like that here in just a minute, we're just taking care of some bare bones basics that you need to make sure that you have taken care of, so that you can, get all that stuff sorted. So right here, if you go to my channel page here on YouTube, one of the things that you're going to see, if I can resize that, we'll just roll with it as is. Basically, when somebody lands on the page and they start scrolling down the page, they have this channel trailer right here, right, which you need to make sure that you have as a new content creator. This can be a piece of content from, from your archive. This can also be a piece of content that is proven to accomplish a specific goal. For here, this particular one is for subscribed viewers, but they also have them for new viewers. So you want to make sure that you have that. Some people will make a custom trailer for the new one that just tells people, hey, this is what it is that I have on my YouTube channel. This is what it is that we do. This is the value that I provide. This is how this channel is going to help you or entertain you. They get into those types of details. But you want to make sure you have that. This is the For You section that I was talking about right here. Let me go into this. Yeah, this right here is the For You section that I was talking about. You have the option to dictate what content goes into that. So you want to make sure that you turn that, on and off. And I'll actually go in and show you where to do this here in just a second. And then you want to make sure that you have playlists on your channel page. So a lot of content creators, when they first start YouTube, they don't even know that you can put additional playlists on your channel page to make it easy for people to find more of the content that they are enjoying. So one of the things that I do here, because again, I want to focus people on the content that brings them the best value the fastest. So because of that, I have a custom playlist right up here at the top. And this custom playlist is not just the uploads playlist. If I had the uploads playlist, it would show shorts, it would show live streams and all that. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to present content to people that's going to help them as fast as humanly possible. And, put me in a good light as well if it's somebody new. So because of that, I actually have a custom playlist that I named my most recent YouTube tips. And then before I upload every video, I make sure to add it to this playlist. And then I don't add live streams. I don't add shorts because that's not what I want people to see first. So with you can do it either way that you want, but I just wanted to give you that little side tip because you can do that sort of thing as well. But the next thing that you want to do, and I have a video that goes into detail about this on my YouTube channel, but basically the next thing you want to do is you want to go into your YouTube analytics and you want to say, okay, what content is driving my channel right now? What's bringing in the most activity? And then you want to focus that next playlist there, and then the next one on the one that's bringing the next activity after that, and so on and so forth, all the way down the page until you fill this up and you get 12 different sections. Now, look, if you don't have enough content to fill this up, it's okay. Just fill out, the ones that you can and do it around your content buckets or pillars. And we're going to be talking about what content buckets and pillars are here in just a little bit when we get into the content strategy stuff. But you can see right here how I have the AI tools here. It's because this particular video is bringing in a decent amount of traffic. This one here is also bringing in, some traffic. This one here is having a hard time, but it's, also, starting to pick up just a little bit as well as it's getting, some search traffic. So because of that, this content right here is bringing in a lot of activity. So I want to feature that. In addition to that, I want to bring attention to this stuff, right? So it's kind of a double intention there, but I want to bring attention to this stuff just because it's all pretty incredible. And then next underneath that, I have my YouTube step-by-step guides because people typically find a lot of value in these, as you can see from the view counts on them. So because of that, I just leave them there for the step-by-step guides. But in order to find this, and let me stop sharing this here for just a moment, because I have to go to my channel and switch out of the TubeBuddy channel here. So in order to find that particular area, what you need to do is you need to log into your YouTube studio, and you do that by clicking on the channel profile icon up in the top right-hand side of the screen. And then once you're in there, let me present this screen here again really quick. And then once you are in there, then you want to go to the customization tab right here, okay? Once you're in there, this is the area where you can add all of those things to your YouTube channel page. So as we scroll down the page, you can see that we've got the new and returning subscriber videos. We've got the For You section. If we click on the more here, This is where you turn on and off your shorts or your live streams from that For You recommendation. I recommend that you look at this on your YouTube channel as well and make sure that you get it sorted based on what you want to show people. You can also do it around recent content only or all content. Me, I have a pretty good archive, and since I have a good archive that's filled with value for content creators, I just leave it to everything instead of just recent content. And then here, as you can see, I don't have the option right now to add any more because I've got mine completely fleshed out. But all you have to do to add one of these sections is you click on Add Section, and that's this little box right here. And then when you do that, what's going to happen is it's going to give you the option to add like a playlist, a single playlist, and a bunch of other different options. If you do a single playlist, like you can see all of these are, then that's where you actually build the playlist first, and then you list it here based on the categories of your content. And keep in mind, again, you want to be intentional about this. And in order to be intentional, you can go into your YouTube analytics, and then as soon as you hit that button, if you scroll down the page, at the very bottom, it's going to show you all the videos right now that are bringing in all the activity to your channel. So again, you want to prioritize based on the activity that's currently bringing the most people into the channel. So you want to make sure that you get your channel, all that stuff taken care of. The next thing that you want to do as well is you want to make sure that you get very clear on your value proposition. So what a value proposition is, just in case you're not familiar with that, is a value proposition is basically just letting people know it's a statement of value. If you watch my videos, this is what you're going to get out of it, right? So in my case, I build mine around YouTube tips and YouTube tools and resources. You can do it around yours based on whatever it is that you do with your content. But basically, here's what you want to think about when it comes to this. There's actually a couple things I'm going to show you here. So I'm going to load one up here as well, just so I can kind of get this ready. And I'll just do it this way. I'll just go straight to Twitter and just show you. So the very first thing that you want to do here, and let me go into here. And again, if you're just joining us, we're getting into like content strategy and stuff here in just a little bit. This is just some housekeeping things that that you need to do. So basically with this, there's also the basic info tab. So if you go here, if you go and you look at a YouTube channel, right? So on a mobile device, and this year they introduced it on desktop computers as well, but there's this blurb right here, right? This little blurb. And this blurb gets shown to people on desktop computers, and it gets shown to people on mobile devices. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have your value proposition here, letting people know exactly what it is that you do on your YouTube channel. Try to keep it under 72 characters for the most important stuff. It's okay if it gets cut off, but you just want to make sure that you keep the most important things within 72 characters. And I'm getting ready to show you why. So if we go to, let me change a different tab. Let me go to my channel so I can share it here. So if we go to my Twitter tab, right? And I just go here and I go here. So if somebody were to share out my channel, right? If they're like, hey, man, you got to check out Nick's stuff, right? Then what's going to happen is Twitter is going to put this card on here. Facebook is going to put this card on here. LinkedIn is going to put this card here. Anywhere where somebody shares the channel, they have the option here for this little blurb to show up. And your channel, oops, sorry, wrong tool there. Your channel is going to have this blurb here that it pulls from the top of your About Me section. So as a new content creator, let's say your channel blows up this year. Let's say that everything goes exactly how you want, and your channel goes through the roof. Well, when that happens, people are going to be sharing your content out. When they're sharing your content out, if you can give people some context in terms of like, hey, this is what I do on the channel, then you're going to fully leverage the opportunity that you have when someone else shares your content out or your channel out onto their social media accounts. So you want to make sure that you get that sorted. Next, we already did the thing about adding the new and returning trailers. And the next thing that I want to talk about here that I mentioned before is the value proposition. So mine specifically on my About Me page, it says Nick Nimmin shares YouTube tips, tools, and more to help you grow and thrive on YouTube, right? Just one simple statement that just lets people know This is what you're getting from this channel. Okay. So you always hear about content creators talk about niching down, right? And the reason for that is things like this. So when people land on your channel, it's clear. This is what I offer here. And you want to make sure that you spell that out for people, because people are not going to put in the energy to go and dig around and try to figure things out. You want to make it crystal clear for them. You can also do this in your channel art if you want to, like I do, but at the very least, you want to make sure that you have that blurb figured out, because they have that show up on desktop computers and it's really prominent on a mobile device. So you want to make sure that it's filled up there as well. But there's other things that you need to do, to fully flesh all of this out. I have a video talking about 10 things that you should do, just housekeeping items to get your channel ready for next year. So make sure that you check out that particular video. But now we're going to get into the more important things, because those are there. They're important because you want to make it easy. As you start deploying some of these other things that we're getting ready to talk about, and you have more activity happening on your YouTube channel, you want to make it just super easy for people to be able to navigate your YouTube channel and find the content that's important to them. Okay. So because of that, you need to do that. And when it comes to your channel trailers, if you do decide to make something custom there, just keep it really short, simple, and just simply tell them, this is what it is that we do on this channel. This is what I'm trying to accomplish here in terms of, we're trying to spread awareness about this, or we're trying to help, like in my case, like I'm trying to help X amount of creators, if I wanted to say that in a trailer, those types of things. It just helps people understand what it is that you do, how it relates to them, and then any additional information in terms of any mission that you're on or anything like that. So you want to make sure that you get all of that sorted. So the next thing I want to talk about is building out your content strategy. So a lot of people just upload videos to YouTube and to any platform, and they don't really have a plan at all. They're just uploading videos. They'll make a video and then they upload it and they hope that it does well. And then after that video is published, they'll sit back and they'll be like, okay, what's this next video that I'm going to make? What am I going to do next? And then they'll start working on that video and rinse and repeat that process. And that does a couple of things to work against you. So one is that it creates an immense amount of pressure. You always hear about YouTubers burning out and things like that. A lot of that is because they don't plan, they don't have an idea of what it is that they're going to publish, and it leaves them in a constant state of like, okay, this video is done, now I'm racing to do the next one, right? And because of that, you will give yourself a lot more peace of mind if you plan your content out over a long term, and you'll make better moves and better decisions if you plan your content out over a period of time as well. So when it comes to your content strategy, the very first things that you got to think about, there's really three core parts of this. The very first is your goal, right? What is it you're trying to accomplish with your YouTube channel? For some people, you're trying to drive, for some of you, you're trying to drive awareness about your business. For some of you, you are just trying to get more subscribers and more views. For some of you, you're trying to make a bigger impact in the lives of other people. For some of you, your goal is that you want to, transition from, being a part-time creator into a full-time creator. Some people, your goal is simply, I just want to connect with other people that are like me and like the things that I like, and so on, right? We all have different goals around what it is that we're doing. But the most important part, the very first element of making a content strategy, is that you define your goal. What is it that you're actually trying to accomplish? And once you put that target on the board, then you can build everything around it in order to reach that goal, right? So once you have your goal, the next part out of the three, then, because we got three core pieces of this, is that you have to make sure that you are defining and understanding the needs and wants of your audience, okay? So when you have your goal, there's going to be a certain group of people that are going to help you achieve that goal, right? It's going to be the type of people that are likely to engage with and enjoy your content. That's going to be who's going to help you do it. Hopefully those people become subscribers, regular viewers, big fans, and they'll come back and watch every video that you upload, right? That's like the bigger goal, right? But when it comes to building out your content strategy, you got to have your goal. And then you have to understand your audience and their needs and wants. So when you are understanding your audience's needs and wants, there's tons of nuance in this. So a lot of people think like, oh, hey, I just want to target gamers, or I just want to target, people with my travel content. Or, I just want to, target, people that are into food, right? But the problem happens when you start getting into the nuance of who it is that you're serving with your content. So for example, when you are making travel content, for those of you that do this, there's a big difference in people that are traveling to places and they are watching travel videos to better understand what it is that they might run into when they get there, the best places to see, the things to avoid, cultural things, that kind of stuff. That's a completely different type of viewer than somebody that is just interested in just watching other people travel and living vicariously through, their content because they either can't, physically or, money or just obligations, whatever. It just limits their ability to travel. So because of that, they'll watch other people for entertainment. And in some cases, they'll watch it in terms of like, okay, yeah, when things get better, then, maybe I'll travel and, I'm going to watch all these different travel videos so that I can, learn where to go. But when it comes to travel content, though, there's two wildly different audiences. Same thing with gaming. With everybody. So when it comes to gaming content, how many people here are gamers? If you're gamers, just say me. But when it comes to gaming content, it's the same. You have people that watch the game, right? People that play it themselves and they just like to watch other people play it. You have people that will watch it before they buy it, right? Because they're wanting to figure out like, hey, does this look fun? Is this something I want to buy? And then you have the people that are trying to figure out the game. Okay. So those are not necessarily the same people either. So this is why it's so important to get down into the nuance or the nitty gritty of your audience and the people that you're serving, because when you look at it through the lens of, okay, am I reaching people that are watching gaming for entertainment, or am I reaching people or wanting to reach people that are just learning how to play the game? And then when you make that distinction, that gives you the opportunity to ensure that as you're building out your content strategy, that you are making the right content for the right audience so that it will end up helping you achieve whatever goal it is that you have for the channel. If it's subscribers, views, revenue, influence, impact, whatever, all of those things, happen because people respond to your content. And then next, you need to plan your content to serve the needs of your audience and to achieve your goals. And we're going to talk, in detail about this, but it's more complex than just those three things. So when it comes to content strategy, here's what you want to think about. It's best practice to decide on 3 to 6 content buckets for your content. What a content bucket is, it's a content category, right? It's basically organizing your content into thematic groups. So let's say, for example, or a limited set of offerings. Let's say, for example, you are a gaming creator. Then in that particular case, if you're a gaming creator and you are making content for people that are trying to learn how to play the game, then in that particular case, it's like, hey, these are going to be my guides to where I'm going to break down like all of the different, characters that they're going to be up against. These are my game. So I'm going to do guides. I'm going to do how-to/tutorial content as part of my content strategy. And with those are going to be solving very specific problems in the game. In order to find those problems, I'm going to use TubeBuddy's Keyword Explorer to see what it is that people are looking for. I'm going to use YouTube's autocomplete. I'm going to use Google Trends. I'm going to use Answer the Public. I'm going to go and hang out in communities around the game so I can see what it is that people are talking about, right? And then as another pillar, maybe you have updates if you have a game that's updating frequently and just dropping new stuff. And then also, as your part of your content strategy, you could also do live streams that are made for the purpose of hanging out, maybe and playing with the people that are interacting with your content, right? So each one of those has a very specific goal and they all serve, very specific purposes. The same exact thing applies to everybody here in whatever type of content that you make, but basically defining each one of those things. So for example, my content, I teach people how to thrive on YouTube. And with my content, my buckets for 2024 are going to be AI tools for content creators because, I would be silly to not do that. It's going to be YouTube growth tips and advice, YouTube feature updates, making money with YouTube, and an experimental bucket. That experimental bucket is I'm going to be dipping in with like creator motivation and some other ideas that I have to see if I run across anything to where it's like, oh yeah, people are really responding to this. And if so, then I'll end up sliding it into, a bucket that I work on a regular basis while still maintaining an experimental bucket. And then through all of that, I'm going to have just an underlying layer through, everything it is that I do of creator support through my live streaming. So, I do live streams on my channel every Saturday where I do Q&As. I do live streams here on the TubeBuddy channel, on the StreamYard YouTube channel, on the TubeSpanner channel. I'm also going to be doing like monetization streams to show, doing channel reviews on my channel, showing people how to, how to make money from the content that they're doing, those types of things. But basically that's all. I look at that as like creator service or creator support, because I get to serve people directly through the live streams. So when it comes to, the buckets that I'm putting out, when it comes to the AI tools, as an example, in that particular case, I'll be sharing, like browser extensions like TubeBuddy with their, AI stuff that's helpful. I'll be sharing, things that you can do specifically with ChatGPT. I'll be sharing, video related things. I'll be sharing graphic related things and so on. Just anything that will help a content creator be more efficient or be more creative or make cooler stuff with AI, right? But the theme is that it's AI tools for content creators, okay? So what you want to do is when it comes to your content, you want to break it down into those themes, and you want to say, okay, what are, 3 to 6 topical buckets or categorical buckets that I can put content out into over the next at least 90 days on my YouTube channel, and then I'll reassess everything and kind of see how things are going, and then make any changes that I need to make from that particular point. So that's the idea on that in terms of the buckets. But with this, as part of the content strategy, you also need to plan your content and attach a purpose to each thing that you do, right? So again, I know a lot of you here are new YouTubers, right? Because, that's, I titled this around new YouTubers because this information is the most valuable to people that, that haven't been introduced to these topics before. Because, a lot of new content creators, they're just coming on, never done anything like this before. I've been doing it for almost a decade. So I'm telling you that taking these particular steps is the way. It's the path to where you don't have to rely on luck. You don't have to rely on, hopefully I get a big shout out or something like that. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff, but you are actually taking the right steps that you need in order to make sure that you are going to achieve your goals here in 2024. But as a part of content strategy, you do need to attach that purpose. So because we have at our disposal, we have regular videos, we have short content, we have live streams that we can do, we have community posts that we can do, we have playlists that we can build out. And when you are being intentional about it, then you can start using all of those things to work together to, touch people that are interacting with your content in all of these different ways through what it is that you're providing on your channel. So when it comes to your different, buckets that you're putting out on your channel, and the different formats of content that you're putting out on your channel, and the different formats of content that you're publishing in terms of views, shorts, live streams, stuff like that, here's what you want to think about. So when it comes to video content, just regular, long form video content, that can be, as an example, I'm just throwing these out there, like tutorials, how-to guides, talking head stuff. It can be, general guides. It can be, you doing whatever your base content is right now, right? That's what your regular videos are for. For your shorts content, the purpose, right? The video content, the purpose of that is to serve the people that are interacting with your content and bring in new viewership for the people that are interacting with it, right? Long form content like that is also really good for doing any type of affiliate marketing, bringing attention to your own sales, spreading awareness about your business, those sorts of things. So you want to make sure that you are, really strongly focused on publishing that long form video content as well. When it comes to shorts, shorts are great for getting in front of new people that might not have ever clicked on your content before. So having shorts as part of your content strategy, especially as a new content creator, it'll keep you motivated, and it will keep you doing the thing, because it's really easy to get busy if you're not a full-time creator. It's really easy to get busy because you've got everything else in life that you're doing, and then YouTube is kind of like that last thing that you do. So with shorts, it can also kind of help get you into the routine of making content on a regular basis, which is one of the hardest things to do when it comes to doing this over a long period of time. So because of that, it gets you in front of, new people. The content's usually, easier to make, for most creators, unless you're like a super high level, creator. And in addition to that, it's also really good for growing your channel and just getting you in front of new people, because, as a new content creator, if you've never done any of this stuff before, it's hard to get people to click, right? It's hard to come up with a really good topic and then get people to click on that topic, to stop and look at that topic, through your thumbnail, and then compel them to click through the title that you've written. It's hard, right? And as a new content creator, a lot of people struggle with that particular part. It's like, hey, why can't I get anybody to click on my videos, right? So while you're working on that, you can be publishing shorts on a regular basis to grow your channel and get you in front of people, because short content just happens to people. You don't have to click. They don't have to choose to watch it. They just decide if they're going to swipe away from it or if they're going to stay engaged in watching it, right? So because of that, making sure that you're doing shorts, you can do quick interviews. If you're doing that type of thing, if you want to go like really high level with it, you can do repurposed live content if you're a live streamer through Opus Clip, which is an amazing tool for taking one long video and converting it into a bunch of short content that you can use to, kind of fill in the gaps, so to speak, when you're publishing. Or if you're really focused on just distribution this year, starting an entirely new YouTube channel just for repurposed clips, right? So you can keep all your main stuff, nice and clean and, intentional, and then have that just where it's like, hey, I'm just putting, repurposed like short form content over here, so I can get in front of more people, right? And then when it comes to live streams, those are great for connecting with your audience. If you're doing, gaming content, playing with people, just doing like Let's Plays with what it is that you're doing. For all other types of content, doing like, Q&As or trainings or, anything like that, behind the scenes type stuff, those types of things, to where you can use live streams as part of your content strategy to nurture your community as well, and to provide, maybe a unique or very specific value to them through the live streams that you're putting out. So when it comes to your community posts, so we've went through video content, went through shorts, went through lives. When it comes to community posts, that's another avenue that you can use and that you should work into your content strategy as a regular thing. So when it comes to our community posts, we can schedule them. So you can sit down technically in one afternoon and you can say, okay, I am going to schedule 2 weeks worth of community posts or a month's worth of community posts. And I'm going to make sure I've got polls in there. I want to drop some images in there. I want to recommend some of my older archive, maybe even, put in some newer videos in there. And as people are interacting with those, even if you don't get a lot of activity on them right now, one, it's filling up that feed. So there's content in there for people that do go look at it, once they get there. And two, when you share a piece of video content in your community feed, you are giving yourself the opportunity to pull people into that video, because YouTube recommends community feeds similar, not at the same scale that they do content, but they will put those community feeds in front of people that are interacting with the channel, but also in front of some that are not. We even have in our YouTube analytics, we have a subscriber metric that shows us how many people subscribed from our community posts as well. So, that's one more thing that you should think about. Like, okay, if I am, doing shorts content, let's say I'm doing like a short video, let's say you're super busy. You're like, hey, I'm going to do a short video per week. Even if it's repurposed, I'm going to do a live stream like once a month. I'm going to do community posts on, let's say 3 days a week, because they're super easy to make. I'm going to do a piece of video content, once a week if you can, bi-weekly, if you have to. And then I'm going to start building out playlists that makes it easy for people to binge watch my content, which is the next part, structurally of this. So when it comes to your playlists on YouTube, we can create playlists about everything, right? So we can have, one playlist about an entire category, and then we can have another playlist where we take a bunch of videos from that playlist, or just 3 videos from that playlist, and say, okay, over the next 90 days, I'm going to be driving people into this playlist from my end screens. I'm going to be driving people into this playlist from my pinned comments. I'm going to be driving people into this playlist from my video descriptions. I'm going to be driving them in here from my cards, on my YouTube channel, my info cards, and looking at it from the perspective of, okay, it's not just these are the videos I'm making, but these are the series that I'm building out. These are the playlists that I'm building out that will make it easy for people, as I spread awareness about them through sharing links, that makes it easy for people to go into those and then start watching some of my videos back to back. So then what you're doing there is you are putting your content together in a way and being strategic about it, to where you're helping create binge watch sessions on your YouTube channel around the things that your viewers care about, right? So when it comes to all of this stuff, of course, if you're just joining us, the most important part is putting those pillars together. And then once you have those pillars together, you can deploy all of these different formats against those, pillars to create content around all of them. So for example, since I talk, about, growing on YouTube a lot, and I'm talking about AI tools and, all that, live streaming, is part of that. So because I'm talking about those things, I can also talk about those things in my community feed. I can also talk about them, even though I normally do it with regular videos. I can also talk about them in live streams. I can also talk about them, through shorts. And you can do the same. I can build playlists around very specific things. Like right here on my channel page, I've got this one that I'm building out for, AI tools for content creators, right? So, through that particular playlist, as somebody finds one of those videos, and then I am linking to that playlist in my end screens, then they'll go in there and they'll be introduced to like a whole group of tools that, will help them make, content in different ways. But for your content strategy, you don't have to plan the whole year out. But what you want to do is you want to try, if you can, you want to try to plan out the next 90 days worth of content on your channel. I know some people, if you're super busy or you're like, hey, I'm doing this thing, and because I'm doing this thing, like I don't know what's going to be coming here over the next couple weeks, let alone the next 90 days. In that case, then you have to do it, as you go. But what I do recommend, if you are somebody in that situation, is try to find some type of evergreen content that you can publish on your channel so that you can plan out at least some of that, where you can say, okay, over the next 90 days, since I do talk about news or I'm like really on topic, let me go ahead and come up with some evergreen content that I can say, okay, once every 2 weeks, I'm going to publish an evergreen video. And what evergreen means, if you're a new content creator, if you're not familiar with that, it means that when you publish that video, it's going to be just as valuable a couple of years from now, or technically forever, compared to other content that's only good for, a certain amount of time. Okay. But here's some things that you need to focus on, and then we're going to get into the Q&A. So simply make good content, learn how to get people to click on that content, right? There's tons of nuance in that. But what you want to do is you want to learn how to do that by using your YouTube analytics. You're going to see a lot of people that talk about YouTube, not a lot of people, you're going to see some people that talk about YouTube to where they're going to say, don't worry about your analytics, just focus on making good content. Right? That doesn't even make sense when somebody says that, because in order to make good content, you need to be able to look into your YouTube analytics and see how people responded to what it is that you did so that you know the changes that you need to make. Okay. But one quick side tip though, is the most important thing in terms of, is this video going to do well? Your topic, the crown is on the topic, right? Like when it comes to the topics that you're choosing to make videos about, how you're framing a topic, or the very specific topic that you come up with. If you come up with a really good topic and it's something unique, then technically the retention doesn't even have to be super awesome on it in order for a lot of people to be clicking on it and getting enough watch time from that particular video because of the scale of the people clicking on it, that it will be okay, right? I mean, it still has to be a good video, but in terms of it needing to be as good as videos that you're not getting as many people to click on, right? So because of that, just a quick side tip, the topic of the video, super important, and, arguably the most important thing, because the topic is what you wrap everything else around, right? You have that topic, and then you have to wrap your thumbnail and title around it to express that topic through somebody that doesn't know what the video content is. And then you have to actually build the content around it as well. So the topic is the king. But you need to use your analytics to make sure you understand how people are responding. So make sure you look at your click-through rate on your videos. Make sure you look at your click-through rate per traffic source, not in the upside down triangle thing that YouTube puts there that shows us an averaged out click-through rate. That is not going to help you. Instead, you want to click into your traffic sources report, and then you'll see your click-through rate and the impressions and your retention on each individual traffic source on YouTube, and that will help you identify problems. So for example, if you find that you're publishing videos and you're having trouble getting people to click on from a home page, then that tells you that maybe you need to simplify something. Maybe you need to use brighter colors. It could also be your title, right? Because your title's, a big part of that. So, it could be that your title's not compelling, even though you're able to grab people's attention, right? And then when it comes to your audience retention reports, that's how you know how people enjoy your videos. So if you go into your audience retention reports, which if you're a brand new YouTuber, it's a graph that we get for every piece of content that we publish onto YouTube. For your audience retention reports, you need to go in there and look, okay, when my video first starts, how are people responding? Even if I've only got 100 views on it, how are people responding to this? If, if I get past, a first minute, how are people responding there? How many people are leaving my video before I get the chance to tell them to watch another video, right? Like, you use that as your map to learn how to make better content by looking for problem areas, looking for places where people leave, and then figuring out what you were doing before that, coming up with theories on why you think people left when you were doing that, and then testing those theories by making a change, and then testing those theories on additional content that you publish. That's how you move forward with fixing that stuff. But the next thing that you also want to make sure that you're thinking about is make sure that you are making content that makes it easy for people to come back for your channel, come back to your channel as well, because that's also really important to YouTube. And that also just helps you kind of balloon everything, because the more people, right, if you just think of this at scale, the more people that you have that interact with one video that come to the next video, bigger balloon. Right? Because then you have all those people, that responded well to it, and then more new people that responded well to it. And then you move to the next video and kind of rinse and repeat that. Now, keep in mind, not every person's going to come back into every video. That's just how it works. But try to be intentional about, if I publish the video about this, and then this is why it's important to plan out your 90 days. If I publish a video about this, then I'm going to publish a video about this. Why would these people watch this? And then I'm going to publish a video about this. Why would the person that watched these two videos watch this video? Why would they care about it? Right? And make sure you can define those things, because if you can't define them, then, then you're going to be defaulting on luck to move you forward. But when it comes to things that you should be learning, though, to navigate all of this stuff as a new creator, you got to learn storytelling. You need to make sure that you are learning how to edit. There's a big difference, and this is a message I'm trying to spread right now, but there's a big message between cutting your videos and editing your videos. My mom can cut videos. When it comes to editing videos, that's a whole other game, because editing, you're creating an experience for people that are interacting with your content. You're intentionally stopping the video in certain points, continuing the video in other points. You're throwing distractions in here. You're using music intentionally instead of just putting it in the background to, fix any ambient noise that you have going on in your videos, those types of things. So if you want to do it at a really high level and you want to get serious results, then you got to learn how to edit, not just cut videos. You got to work on your communication skills. Because communication, I mean, if you're talking in your videos and you are out in the world showing people stuff, or you're in your place showing people stuff, or anything like that, or even, if you are gaming and you're just in a little webcam down in the corner, you still got to be able to communicate effectively, clearly, and in an engaging way with the people that are interacting with your content. Design basics, because if you're going to be making thumbnails, if you are going to be using graphical thumbnails in any way, then in that case, you got to learn how to do that accurately. So make sure that you're watching, tutorials on design, color theory, font usage, all of those things. You need to learn video production basics. You need to be watching content on that. And the reason for that, obviously, is I can't tell you how many videos I've seen where the creator is framed to where the video starts and they're like, oh, hey, what's going on? And they're in some like weird, they're in some like weird, awkward, spot like this. And it just makes the video uncomfortable, right? And when you start watching and you start learning about video production, then you quickly get up to speed on like, oh, that's why my videos look wonky and I couldn't really put my thumb on it. It's because I'm like framed weird, right? So when you start learning, video production, you learn how to, make contrast in your, footage and all that stuff. Even if you're with a webcam, even if you're doing it with a phone, you learn how to make better quality content that will help you get your message across even better, by learning video production. It's also important to learn what your audience responds to. I mentioned that about the analytics. You got to learn to read and interpret that. It's also important to learn, if you are somebody that is going to do this full time, that wants to be a full-time content creator. It's also important that you do learn some basic business skills as well, because, if you start doing this full time, there's a very high likelihood that you are going to start generating some real money. There's a really high likelihood you're going to eventually do brand deals, and you're going to need to negotiate those brand deals. You're going to need to, work on those, brand deals, there's a good chance that if you do decide to do this, as a full-time thing, that you might be doing your own products, things like that. You're going to need to network with other people in your space. You're going to need to network with, companies, that kind of stuff. So, all of those things are really important, the business skills, when it comes to being a full-time creator. If you're just a hobbyist, it's not as important. But if you are somebody that is trying to be a full-time creator, when you become a full-time creator, technically when you become a creator, as soon as you get into the YouTube Partner Program and you start generating money, or as soon as you make your first affiliate sale or your first product sale, as soon as those things happen, technically you started a business with your YouTube channel. Technically, before you even get monetized, you started a business with your YouTube channel if your intention is to get monetized and start generating revenue from it. So because of that, you need to just look at it like, okay, yes, I'm being creative. Yes, I'm putting out content. Yes, I'm serving, a very specific group of people, but I'm also running a business. And when you start taking that approach, it will also start changing how you approach things, as a content creator as well. But we're going to get into a Q&A right here in just a second, a question and answer portion. So get your questions ready if you do have any. But what you want to make sure that you're thinking about for 2024 is write down your goals and be very specific about your goals when it comes to what it is you're trying to do in 2024. What I recommend, or what the exercise that I work through with people is, I typically do this if I'm like starting to work with somebody or something, and then, we're trying to figure out like what they, ultimately want if they don't have a clear goal. So what I recommend is that you just close your eyes and think about this. Think about, okay, if everything went exactly how I would like it to be on my YouTube channel, if I did all these things Nick's talking about and everything just aligned, and, people start responding well to my content, and I start, my videos start doing well and everything works out great, what does that look like? Right? Write it down. What does it look like? What type of lifestyle are you wanting out of it? What type of response are you wanting in your comment section? How are you wanting your viewers to interact with you? What would your content look like, right? Like right now, if you're like, hey, I'm working on the production, I don't know how to do all that stuff yet. If you could have everything how you wanted it, what would your content look like? What would it sound like, right? How would other people perceive your content when they see it? What would your thumbnails look like if you knew how to make the perfect thumbnail, or if you were making enough money from your YouTube channel that you could hire somebody to do it? And start thinking about those things and write them all down, okay? Because when you do that, it just helps you add clarity, and it helps give you a very clear target for what it is that you're actually after and what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and the brand that you're trying to build. It's also important to focus. It's really easy as content creators, because there's, the different platforms, and we're always getting pulled in all these different directions. Should I do a podcast? Should I, be on TikTok? Should I be on Facebook? Should I be on Instagram? Should I be on Snapchat? Should I be uploading my shorts to Pinterest? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Focus. Right? Just focus. If you spend the next year really focused and really building your skills around this, the things that I just went through, if you spend the next year doing those things, by this time next year, you're going to be in a completely different situation. You're going to see things differently. Like when you're interacting with the platform and you're looking at other content creators, and when you're looking at your own content, you're going to see it with a completely different set of eyes. If you go through the process of everything that we just talked about, you're going to see it differently, because you're going to be developing those skills that's going to allow you to do it. But when it comes to the focus, though, I'm sure you've heard the analogy about, okay, if I have a magnifying glass and I've got the sun coming through it, and I'm trying to light something, then in that particular case, if I'm moving it all over, then nothing's going to catch fire. But if I can just focus it, and I'm saying, you know what, for this year, because I'm trying to do this content thing, and I'm trying to like really get my YouTube channel to go, then in that case, just focus all of your energy on YouTube, and focus all of your efforts on, growing on YouTube. Keep in mind, if you're only going to be doing vertical content, if you make a short video, you can just put that everywhere, but try to make that process as seamless and smooth for yourself as you possibly can. But when it comes to the core of what you're trying to accomplish, focus on it, because if you focus on it, then it's going to help you see all the details. But if you're going all over the place, then you're just going to be busy. But then, there's a chance that, this time next year, you might be in the same boat. But if you focus on it and work on learning and understanding one platform and the audience for a platform that you're serving, then in that particular case, you're going to increase the likelihood of you really understanding that audience, really understanding the platform, and, starting to gain prominence if you don't already have it by this time next year. Okay. In addition to that, you've got my channel, you've got the TubeBuddy channel, and you've got a bunch of other YouTube channels that help people with YouTube. So, if you have problems, there are things you're trying to figure out, there's YouTube channels that will help you. There is subreddits that will help you. There are Facebook groups that will help you, like Tube Ritual, as an example, like YouTube creators, as an example, like YouTube and Video Tips, I think is the name of ours. But, you know, there's a bunch of different, you know, Facebook groups. I think Creators Helping Creators is the other one from Daryl Eves. But like, there's a bunch of different Facebook groups that will help you. There's a lot of different Discords. We have one. You got to go to my channel to find it. But we have a Discord, you know, for our community as well. So does TubeBuddy. So, you know, there's all of these resources that you have at your disposal as a new content creator, and everybody's trying to help you thrive. So all you need to do is take action on the things that we talked about and be intentional about everything you're published and constantly be trying to improve. And that's the path that will get you there. So with all of that said, when it comes to, you know, questions that you have, if you have questions on anything that I, you know, just talked about, then just put a Q in front of the question, because that's how I identify, you know, it's a question, and I'll get through as many of these as I can here within a time limit here. So the very first one is Angry Owl Outdoors says, what do you recommend for creators looking to create a brand web page specifically for my channel? It would be related to camp gear reviews and general camping how-tos. So what I would do if that was my website is I would have, basically if it's going to be related to camp gear reviews, then I would make sure that you have a store on your website that directly links all of the different things that you review directly to where they can purchase the product. So when you put your videos on your website, like, that's okay. And, you know, you want them to watch on YouTube, but when they are watching it on your website, that's fine. But, you know, keep in mind that in order for those to even come up, for your website to even come up, like, your website has to compete against all the other websites out there, just like your videos have to compete, you know, on YouTube. And because of that, you want to look at your website more as a resource for viewers to kind of help them find what it is that they need that they can't find on your channel, and use that as like the resource to spread awareness about those things and your channel. So for example, I would do a store to where you list out, you know, all the gear that you recommend. And you can attach that to each video. So this is the gear that I was talking about in this video, and this is my review of this. Here's the links to buy it, that kind of stuff. You can do that. But it's set up like a store in that capacity, right? And then have a page that's about you and the channel and what it is that you're trying to, you know, accomplish, you know, big picture. Have that, and then have like a contact form for any brands that want to work with you, or anybody that wants to collaborate, or any fans that want to reach out for any reason. Make sure that the email address that receives the email from that content form, just like the email address that's on your About Me page, make sure that that email is not the same exact email that's your main YouTube account, because if it is, then that's just one step that makes it one step easier for hackers to get control of your account. So because of that, just make sure those things are separated. But I would use like WordPress. Technically, you could use Shopify for this, but if you know how to build stuff, then in that case, you can use WordPress, and then you can customize it. You can go to Theme Forest by Envato, and you can buy a theme, and then you can go in and you can customize that theme, and then you can make it your own that way. Let's see here. When will the multi-language captions and translations be available to all creators? That's supposed to come for I've got it already, but it's supposed to come for everyone in 2024. And the really cool thing about this is that for those of you that are not familiar with what's happening right now on YouTube, they are rolling out multi-language. I mean, technically you can do multi-language captions right now. So you've been able to do that for a long time, Ellie Bunny. So if you go into your subtitle area of your channel, then you're going to see the option to, here, I'll just show you really quick. Hold on. Let me go into a video. We will just go into here. All right. So if we go into, let me share the screen here really quick. So I'm going to show you like what's going on now, and I'm going to show you what's coming. So basically, all you have to do here in order to translate your captions and your metadata is you go into your subtitle area, click into here, add language, and then here we're just going to do, let's do something easy. Did this recently. Let's see, I did Arabic, so let's do, what do we got here? Hindi. Let's do Hindi. Okay, so let me go find Hindi. Make sure you can see this. Yeah, you can. Okay, so I'm going to go down here and we've got Hindi. Boom, right? And then here I can go into the subtitles. And then I go right here into auto translate. Boom. And now all of my subtitles are translated into Hindi. And then I hit publish. Boom. Now what's coming is this right here. Oh, you can also do this, by the way, with your title and description. So here, TubeBuddy, we'll do some of this. 1 second. Okay. So I just use TubeBuddy here. If you're not a TubeBuddy user, this is another reason to use TubeBuddy. You know, one thing that people think about TubeBuddy is they think like keywords, that's it. But TubeBuddy has an entire suite of tools that will help you with your channel. And this is one way that it helps. So you can see right here, it has a translate button. I click that. I've got my title and my description now in Hindi. So now I can hit publish. So the experience that somebody Hindi is going to get is they're going to see if they have Hindi, or if they have YouTube, you know, localized into that language, then they're going to see this title in Hindi and they're going to see my description in Hindi. The thumbnail is going to throw them off, but they're going to see those. Now, what I can do is I can use a service now, and this is coming to everybody in 2024, but right now I can use a service to give me a Hindi audio track to where it's my voice, but it sounds like I'm talking or that I'm speaking in Hindi language. And then I can upload that to my YouTube channel. And what happens is that creates a flow for the viewer where the viewer is going to see it in their language in terms of the metadata title, right? So they can click on it. And then as soon as they come into the video, then if I used, you know, Hindi for that translation, then they would hear my voice, but in Hindi language. Mind blowing, right? So then it creates a seamless experience for them. So, so hopefully that was helpful and answered your question there, Ellie Bunny. So what editing app would you suggest for 2024? If you're doing it on your phone, I would just use CapCut. Like CapCut's the GOAT right now when it comes to video editing apps on a phone. So I would just use that. Let's see here. Colorful Tale says, at what point should we outsource editing? Normally, because you didn't have a queue, I would have skipped over this one, but it's a good question. A lot of people here are probably interested in. So this is going to come down to like personal preference. So one of the things that that I do and that I'm currently doing is because I love to edit. So when I'm really busy, I'll pass everything off to my editor. But when I'm not super busy, then I will edit some stuff and then I'll have him edit some stuff. And then sometimes I'll be like, hey, I need you to do the rough cut of this and then send it over to me. And then I'll put the polish on it, those types of things. So when it comes to outsourcing, you should outsource your editing when you no longer like editing, right? When you either no longer like it or just due to the amount of time that you spend on stuff or that you want to spend on stuff, you would just rather offload that. So a lot of people, just as, you know, as a heads up, you know, if you're a new content creator, a lot of people look at YouTube as a lifestyle business. And what that means is it gives you the opportunity, once you learn how to do it, it gives you the opportunity to create content, you know, 2 videos a week or, you know, whatever your cadence is going to be to create content. And then those other days when you're not making anything, then, you know, you can just go out and enjoy your life. A lot of people use YouTube for that, right? I have days, you know, where, you know, I'm the same way where I'm like, yeah, you know what, today it's really nice out. I'm just going to go hang out and like do whatever, right? So when it comes to the lifestyle side of things, if you're like, hey, you know what, I just want to like live my life and make content, then focus on making content if that's what you're best at, and then hire an editor. Now, another thing to think about there is, you know, if you are somebody that is going to try to turn this into something, or you already have in terms of the amount of income that you're generating from it, then in that particular case, you could also look at it like, hey, this is going to be a business expense for me. This is an investment into my YouTube business. And because of that, I'm going to go ahead and just hire an editor and, you know, have them take care of that stuff. So I don't even have to, you know, do it. But one thing that I really recommend for everyone is before you start handing stuff off, learn how to do it. Because when you learn how to do it, not only do you learn how to do it, so if, you know, you have a problem with them or they decide to just not do it, you know, or whatever, can you do it? But in addition to that, it also helps you learn what's fair, right? And it helps you learn what's good. Because, you know, if you hire somebody and you don't know what good is, then you're just going to take whatever they give you and just upload it. But if you know what good is, you can be like, you know what, you need to tighten this up here a little bit. Maybe, you know, add a little bit more excitement to this area here. Maybe we cut out this whole part right here because it does get a little stagnant. You know, you'll be able to give like real feedback if you learn how to do it. So a lot of different things there. But, you know, that's my opinions on when to hire an editor. How to make a thumbnail and watermark. You can use Canva for those. You can use Photoshop for those. But basically, you start with a blank canvas and then you start building from there. When it comes to the watermark, if you mean the little subscribe watermark that pops up, down here in the corner, those you can get those on my website, tubertools.com. If you go, there's going to be a top navigation area. If you click on that and you look for one that says buttons, then you can go in there. It's like $2 where you can get those. If you check out my latest video, I've actually got it where you can, download it for free in there. I give you all the information about that in the in that particular video. Which tools do I recommend for content research to make more content? So obviously, TubeBuddy, their Keyword Explorer is fantastic because not only does it help you like optimize for search if you have a search targeted channel, but it helps you gauge interest, right? Because, a lot of people, when it comes to TubeBuddy's keyword tool, they're like, okay, well, I don't make search-based content, so it's useless. Wrong. So when it comes to their Keyword Explorer, they show you search volume, which YouTube doesn't show you. Answer the Public doesn't show you. Like the only place that you can get that information is if you actually go into Google Ads, right? And like you're going to do an ad campaign. That's the only place that you can find that information. Or you use a place like SEMrush that charges like, I think they're like $150 or $100 a month or something like that, just for that. But like when it comes to TubeBuddy, they help you gauge interest. So I'm not sure if you were here earlier in the stream where I was talking about how important the topic is. So when it comes to the topic, if you can't nail the topic and you can't make a video about something that you can prove that people are interested in, then in that particular case, you are kind of cutting yourself off before you even get the chance to get going. So if you are using that, then it shows you like, hey, yeah, there's a decent amount of people are looking for this, which means that if you publish a video on it, there's also a really good chance that YouTube is going to show your content to some of those people that are searching for it based on how their system works, right? In addition to that, though, if you're looking for just general ideas, you can also use Answer the Public. Answer the Public has 3 free searches per day, or you can pay for the account. But with that, what you do is you go and you just put in the topic, and then it will give you all the questions that people ask about it. So depending on your content type, like for me, that kind of thing is really easy and helpful because, I pretty much answer questions with my content. So it's like, okay, if everybody has all these different questions, then I just need to think of how I can, link all these together and how I can make it to where if somebody watches this one, they would come in and watch this one and so on. And then I can make videos about all this stuff, right? So when you use something like that, it also helps, in that regard. TubeBuddy also has a video idea generator. And you also have like ChatGPT as well, to where you can be like, hey, give me 50 video ideas about this particular thing, right? So I would use those types of things. And then, of course, trends, right? Like I've done, I think it might have been the last stream here. I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember when I did it last, but it was fairly recently. Maybe it was a StreamYard stream. But basically, I went in and I showed like how to use Google Trends and things to look for and, like how you can use it to identify like very specific ways that people look for things. Because like when you're writing your titles, right? Even if you're not targeting YouTube search, when you're writing your titles, you can write them in the way that you think is compelling, or you can write them in the way that you think is compelling in the way using language that matches the way that people think about what it is that you're making, right? So a great example for this is, since we're here on the TubeBuddy channel, so one of the things that, that I look into is I go to Google Trends. I'm like, are people looking for TubeBuddy as 2 words, or are they looking for it as 1 word? And the reason I look for that is because, one, I want those videos to show up in search, but I also look for that because it's like, okay, if people are using it together, which is how people are using it, then I want to make sure that I'm matching how they're thinking about it, and I want to use it with the 2 words together as well, right? Same thing in the demos I do. I usually, will show like Call of Duty versus COD, I'll give examples like that so you can start crafting what it is that you're doing in the language of the people that are interested in it. Right. Let's see here. Do Facebook groups for sharing content work? Where would I post to advertise my channel? Okay, I'm glad you asked this question. So no, they do not work. So when you are dropping your content into Facebook groups for the sake of like, hey, I'm gonna drop my video here, everybody go watch my video, that type of thing, no, that doesn't work. It actually works against you because you're having people go in and interact with your content that are not a good fit for your content. That can actually completely stall your channel out and make it very difficult for YouTube's recommendation system to understand who the right people are for your content. So because of that, you do not want to participate in those. You do not want to participate in any sub for subgroups or anything like that. Not only only is it a violation of YouTube's community guidelines and can get your channel deleted completely, but it also, sends the wrong signals to YouTube in terms of who the good fit is for your content. So you literally, like every channel, when you start out on YouTube, like you start with that like flat plane, right? And it's like, okay, so we've got this flat plane. So as soon as I understand what, our audience I'm reaching and the content I'm going to make for them, then I start making that content, then YouTube's system starts bending in the direction, so to speak. This is the only analogy I can come up with right now. But their system, it starts bending in the direction of that audience that you're trying to reach. And as soon as it finds a segment of that audience that responds well to your content, then it starts looking through its database of all the people that are interacting with YouTube and all the things they're searching for, all the things they're watching, all the things that they, don't watch, the way that they interact with the content. It's looking at all the data they have on everybody. It's like, okay, all these people enjoyed this, so let's try it against other people that use YouTube in this way, and then see if they respond to it. And then YouTube starts doing the promotion for you. So when you start using like those Facebook groups and things like that, you're literally just putting a big wall in front of yourself, and you're making it very difficult for your channel to move forward. So when it comes to posting to advertise your channel, just learn how to make good content. Go and watch the replay of this video and do all the things that I talked about, and learn how to make good content that people respond to, and learn how to come up with really good topic ideas, and learn how to get people to click on that content through making, thumbnails that help them identify the content's about something that they care about, and writing compelling titles. Do those things, and you'll be going in a much better direction. Don't waste your time in those groups, because it's literally a waste of time. Let's see here. How to set new goals for 2024. Great question. So when it comes to that, just kind of, wiping the slate clean and saying, hey, I got a new year. We can try to achieve whatever we want. If you already have, because I think I saw your channel name earlier, and I think that you have a check mark, which means that you have an established channel of some kind. So because of that, I'm just going to look here really quick. Yeah, you've got 1.5 million subscribers on your YouTube channel. So you've already got, that part sorted. Let's see here, you're doing a lot of shorts. Yeah. So you've got the established channel. Now it's thinking about like, what do I want out of this, right? Like, what is it that I'm trying to accomplish? Are you trying to take your channel to the next level? Are you trying to get your average view counts higher? Those sorts of things. Like, what is it that you're trying to do? And literally just writing it down based on, your experience so far. The best app to use for thumbnails for Android, I'm not sure off the top of my head. I'm not sure what the best solution for that would be. But if anybody does have a recommendation here in the chat, please go ahead and drop it in the chat. Let's see here. Next up, we've got Global Wildfire Equipment. Says, just getting started making plans for 2024. Would you suggest using a mix of shorts and long form at the same time? Also plan to live stream in the field at fires. What tools are needed? Okay, great question. So absolutely use shorts to get you in front of new people that might not have clicked on the long form content, and to meet them where they're at. Right? Because there's two approaches when it comes to, the very specific content that you're putting out. One is, this is the message I'm trying to share. This is what I'm trying to share. Where's the best place to put it? Right? There's that. But in addition to that, there's also, okay, there's tons of people that are watching YouTube shorts right now on the toilet, right? So some of those people don't have 15 minutes to watch a video or an hour to hang out in a live stream. But they've got a little bit of time. I mean, everybody's different, but they've got a little bit of time, while they're in that situation, to where they can hop into YouTube Shorts and sit there and watch a bunch of shorts until they're finished. So there's that, right? So basically you get to meet them where they're at. In addition to that, as a new creator, shorts are a great way to get your content in front of people, because you remove a barrier to entry. So when it comes to your long form content, you have, one, the length of the content, to where if somebody doesn't have time, they're not going to click on it. Two, you have to be able to grab their attention from a skill set side. You have to be able to grab their attention and then pull them into the content based on the topic and how you've packaged everything from the outside. So when it comes to shorts, totally different. It just shows up. So in your case, if you're doing like wildfire stuff, that's interesting, right? So what I would recommend is, don't just be like, hey, here's the wildfire. Be like, we got this, this thing's blazing. We've got, this, that, and the other thing. It's getting close to this over here. What we're trying to do is we're trying to, go over here and we're trying to dig the thing over here to create this, barrier or whatever, and build it up, right? Like get people like excited about what it is that you're doing. If you have like the full, if you're out there in like the full gear, like get you in the gear, right? Because that's instant authority, because it's like, oh, it's not just some like person out there dealing with a wildfire. We've got a fireman doing it, or a fire person, out there doing it. So that creates like a whole different level of authority and a whole level of interest as well. And that'll cause that just by itself, when it comes to YouTube shorts, is like, oh, this is, hey, let me watch a bunch of these, right? It makes it instantly interesting. So I would definitely be leveraging shorts as well as long form content. And when it comes to your live streams, that's great when you're doing it in the field. I'm not sure what type of budget you have. Technically, you can just do it with your phone. So technically, you can just go live right on your YouTube phone, or right on your phone in the YouTube app once you create or once you get the requirements needed in order to do it for your channel. In the meantime, you can set up mobile live streams and do all of it through StreamYard, but it's just a little bit more complicated when it comes to that. So if it was me, I would wait until I got the requirements, and then I would just do it on my phone. There's other things. There's the actual devices you can get. There's one called a Live U Solo. It's about $1,000, and basically what it does is it has 2 SIM cards that you can put in there, and it uses a technology called cellular bonding. So if you're on your phone, you're in a weak signal area, then you just have the one carrier. But if you use the cellular bonding, you have 2 different carriers, and it's bouncing off, the towers for the different carriers, and it combines the 2 signals to create one really high quality signal. And then that way, if you have one drop out, then everything will get like a little bit weird for just a little bit until it reconnects. And then bam, it brings it all back in high quality again. People usually use those for like events and, things like what you're doing when they're like out in the world. But you absolutely can do it with just a phone if you meet the requirements first. Can a lifestyle channel become successful on this platform? If by lifestyle you mean variety, technically yes, because technically all it takes is one just really good video that gets a response, and that particular video could generate a lot of subscribers. The problem and where everything breaks down is if you have one video take off and people really love that, and that video gives you like 100,000 subscribers from that video because you got tons of views on it, then in that particular case, with everything else that you're publishing, is it going to be interesting to those people? Are they going to come back and watch it? Right? That's where everything breaks down. So when you do variety, not so much. When it comes to lifestyle, with that, you still have to make it about them, right? I was in Daryl Eves' live stream. I was listening to it on my way home on Saturday after mine, and one of the things that he mentioned in there that I absolutely loved, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna like tell people that one is like if you make content for yourself, then just expect one view, because you're just making it for yourself. But if you are making content for other people, then in that case, you have to design the content for other people. And that comes down to, the very specific content that you're putting out on the channel. So, when it comes to lifestyle, absolutely, you can thrive as a lifestyle channel, but the same rules apply. You got to get clear on your audience. If you want them coming back and, if you want to actually like grow the thing, then in that case, you need to get very clear in your audience, make sure that, every piece of content that you're publishing is a good fit for that specific audience. And if it's not, don't publish it just because you want to publish it. Publish only the stuff that is a good fit for those viewers, if you're wanting to, do it the best way possible. But, again, think about, if I'm doing lifestyle content, why would somebody, and I'm just being very general here, but why would somebody that, where I was showing them me washing my car, why would that person care about, this food that I'm eating, right? Or this food, me cooking food or whatever, right? Yes, there's the theme of you, right? That's the consistent theme. However, you got to get people introduced to you. And the way that you get people introduced to you and you grow a channel that then you can start experimenting with that type of stuff is you get introduced to people by giving them content that they care about, right? Because people are selfish, right? You got to give them that. The only reason you click on anything on YouTube is because you think that you're going to get some type of value out of it, right? You think, oh, this is going to be funny, or this is going to be interesting, or I'm going to learn something, or whatever the thing is. The only reason you click on content, it's all selfish, right? So because of that, when you're doing lifestyle content, if it's not pointed at a very specific audience, and you're not, designing the content to where it gives a very specific value to them, then in that case, it makes things, a lot more challenging. TubeBuddy is a browser extension and website, we'll just call it a tool, for YouTube content creators. They have 90 different tools that will help you with your YouTube channel. Everything from helping you come up with topics to testing your thumbnails against different audiences and giving you full reports on which thumbnails were the best on what traffic sources or what pages of YouTube. They translate your content for you if you choose to use it that way. They bunches of stuff. They have an AI shorts analyzer to where it goes in and tells you the very specific parts of your video that people are responding to better that you can make shorts out of. They also have a click magnet where it shows you consistent elements in your thumbnails that people typically respond to, like all kinds of stuff. But there's like 90 different tools. So you can try it for free. If you just go to tubebuddy.com, I got a link down in the description as well that also just goes straight to tubebuddy.com if you want to check it out. So the Coach Plays says, I have a sports channel covering football, basketball mainly, and some others. Should I niche down even further to strictly football, or is it okay that I do them all? So the way that you want to think about it is, again, through the lens of an audience, right? So if you are publishing content on all the different sports, in that particular case, then, there's going to be people that don't even care about baseball that you're going to alienate from your content. And then what's going to happen is, let's say in football season, you're talking about football, and then when it comes baseball season, you're talking about baseball. Well, in that particular case, for anything that is evergreen, the problem that you're creating is that the people that are interacting with your football content, once you start talking about baseball, a lot of those people are going to fade out. And then once they fade out, then what's going to happen there is you're going to have to grow this audience on baseball. And then when it's football season again, you're going to have to start over with the football content, because a lot of those football people are not going to have interacted with your content. And since they haven't interacted with your content, you are not in their recent viewer history, which then is lowering the likelihood of you getting recommended to them. So, so there's all of those types of things that you got to think about. So if it was my channel, I would pick a sport and just roll with that sport. And then you can have multiple channels. You can also have playlists to multiple channels. You can share playlists across channels. So for example, you can have your main channel that's a football channel, or they could all be main channels, whatever, but have like your football channel. And then on your football channel, have a playlist from your channel about baseball, have another playlist about your channel about football, soccer, and then have another playlist about your channel about hockey, right? It's a lot of work in terms of making all that content for everything. But if you were wanting to cover everything, I would spread it across channels and then put playlists on all of those channels on the channel page that will lead people into, the other channels as well. Let's see here. When you say repurpose, do you mean repost the same video or short that you've posted before? No, what I mean is the reference that I gave for this was Opus Clip. So with Opus Clip, it's a tool. And what I do is I take because I have a live stream that I do on my channel. It's about 3 hours long. And I take that live stream, I take the link, and then I post it into Opus Clip. And then Opus Clip will convert that live stream. It's a live stream just like this one, but it'll convert it into for that 3 hours, I get about 47 clips that I can use. So I can take those clips and I can upload them as shorts on a standalone channel that I have. They actually just rolled out a feature to where I'm not sure if it's public yet, but it's coming to where you can also do that with regular format as well. So I'd be able to take this live stream, it would section out clips that I could also load there to get, more watch time and all that stuff for the channel. Let's see here. So it's taking something that's already been used, reformatting it into a different format and taking a portion of it and then putting it elsewhere. Are there any plans to revamp the TubeBuddy mobile app on iOS in 2024? I'm not sure. For a question like that, because I don't know, all the different, updates and stuff they're doing. So I would definitely reach out to their support team and see what they have to say. Homesteading Hustle says, for the experimental bucket, is that for existing audience or to reach new audiences? Does this confuse the algorithm? Thank you. So it's everything on the channel. So what's important to think about is everything on the channel is for a specific audience. Within that specific audience, there are nuanced things that you can do, right? Different categories that can still serve that audience. So the experimental bucket is like, what can I do here that, what's something that I could do that I'm not currently doing to see if this audience also responds well to this. So for example, in my case, so I just put out a video on my channel. It was like 2 videos ago, and it says like every new YouTuber needs to watch this video. The whole thing is basically just sharing facts about, the growth of what's happening in social media and influencer marketing and all that stuff right now. And then also just a motivational, encouraging message that, if you focus on this and you learn the skills and you are intentional about it, that you can thrive just like all the other creators that you see thriving on the platform. So that particular piece of content is more of an experimental piece of content because it's outside of what it is that I normally do. There's still some alignment because I still share those messages in live streams and stuff and in some videos, but that entire video was made for that. Like, I want people to start this video as like, hey, is this something that I should do? I'm not really sure. Should I spend the time on this? And by the time they're finished with that video, the intention is that they are going to feel like, you know what? Yeah, I can do this. I'm going to take it seriously. This is something I want to do. And, I'm going for it. Right. That's what I want by the time the video is finished. So in terms of the experimental buckets, those are literally targeted towards the same audience, but it's just a different type of thing. So the AI, for me, my AI videos, those were experimental. Because of the response on those was so high, then I'm going to make those a dedicated bucket for the next 90 days. And then from there, which means that you'll just see them regularly coming up on my channel. But those are going to be, one bucket. And then at the end of that 90 days, I'll, analyze everything and then decide if I'm going to keep, going with that one as a main one, or if I'm going to, remove it completely, which I probably won't remove it completely because I talk about tools. Creator tools in general. This is just a very specific, AI side of that. Is the SEO score really help my channel grow? No. So when it comes to your SEO score, keep in mind that this is all about optimization, right? So if you are a channel and you are using TubeBuddy and you're using TubeBuddy to help you show up in YouTube search, it's still the content, right? The content is going to decide if you're going to show up in search or not, and if you stay in search. So basically, when it comes to the SEO score, what that's doing is that's telling you that, okay, you've got all this optimized to where if your video is good and people respond well to your video, you've done all of the metadata stuff in the right way to where you're going to show up there if people are looking for this particular term, right? But your video still has to be good and it still has to compete or out-compete the videos that are currently showing for those results. But the score itself is not going to help your channel grow. But learning how to optimize using that tool and learning how to dial in an SEO score and learning, when I do this, like when I, put the same keyword phrase in my title and in my thumbnail and my description, and then I talk about kind of variations here, all of these things, they improve my SEO score. So that means that if I do have a search-based channel and I do want to rank my videos in search, then in that particular case, I need to make sure that I'm doing these things in order for that to happen. Let's see here. Food Fun Diary says, if the view count for a video is much higher on a consistent basis than the number of subscribers, is this a healthy growth for a channel, subscriber growing gradually? So yeah, so basically when you are publishing content to YouTube, you need to be just getting in front of new people. Like, it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. If you want to grow your subscriber base, you just need to be getting in front of new people. So you want subscribers coming back because that sends a really good signal to YouTube. That also creates a chain. So like if, let's say that you're publishing videos to your YouTube channel and you have somebody new come in and interact. Well, over time, if YouTube system's like, okay, so they see a new piece of content and then the system shows them like, out of, all of your videos, it shows them like a selection of these. And then people typically respond to those. And then next time we recommend something else from the archive, they typically respond to like something out of this group. Then in that particular case, you start creating like a chain of sorts. So because of that, getting people to come back to the channel is important, but you always want to be serving your subscribers, but you also, for growth, you got to be thinking about, okay, how do I push into new viewership? This is where shorts is coming in, clutch, for a lot of people is it's growing people on the subscriber side if they're struggling with getting subscribers on the long form content side. How can YouTube Shorts go to your YouTube channel? I'm going to assume that you said grow your YouTube channel. It's because they grow your channel as long as you're making good content. They grow your channel by putting you in front of people that might not have clicked on your thumbnail or that just might not be recommended your long form content anyway. So it puts you in front of people that might not have had the opportunity to see your channel, and then they can subscribe there. Global Wildfire Equipment, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Denny Tobing says, in 2024, I just focus on short or the main content because my viewer is short is larger than main. So this comes down to you and what it is that you want to do, right? Like the thing that you have to make sure that you think about, like not everybody, but a lot of people are like, okay, well, I have a new channel. I've just published shorts and people are responding to my shorts. So that means that I can't do long form content. No, it doesn't. It means that you've learned how to get people to respond to your shorts. Now, if you want to make long form content for any reason, then in that particular case, now you got to learn how to do that too. And then once you get good at that, then if you wanted to get into live streaming, you can, or podcasting, that kind of stuff. But just because you have had success in shorts does not mean that you should only do YouTube shorts. Let's see here. Rick Kua says, I stream on Facebook, but only at 1080p, forcing all videos, even after edit, to be 1080p, not due to my PC power. Would you suggest I switch over completely to YouTube due to quality limitations? So no, when it comes to 1080p, like in most cases, that's fine. Like I stream 1080p on my channel and it's perfectly fine. StreamYard is getting ready to upgrade to 4K here in 2024. When they do, for that option, I'm going to stream in 4K, once they have that option in there. But keep in mind, most people, and you can see this in your analytics, most people that are interacting with your live streams, I'm going to bet they're probably on a mobile device. So even if you're streaming in 4K, it's not going to make that big of a difference. But if you wanted to, if you're like, hey, I'm trying to go 4K here, then in that particular case, then, switching to YouTube is definitely going to have that option. So on the replay, if Facebook is, dumbing the content down to 1080p and you want that 4K, then yeah, do that. Or you can use StreamYard to simulcast to both of them, and to Twitter and to LinkedIn and any Twitch and anywhere else you want to. And then as soon as do it in 1080, and then as soon as they have that 4K feature, then have it sending 4K out to all the different platforms as well, because you can multicast there. Let's see here. Looking for questions. Do Facebook groups for sharing content? Okay, we did that one already. Hey, Joe's phenomenal. Glad that you are enjoying Creator Mix. Let's see here. How does your sponsorship work? Okay, good question. I'm not sure which sponsorship that you mean, but basically how sponsorships usually work with me is we will agree on a long-term agreement of some kind. That long-term agreement will include very specific pieces of content that I need to put out, like X amount of videos. Sometimes it's just my channel, to where it's X amount of videos over the course of the year, to where I either focus on or I mention the products. In addition to that, I also do extra things. So here on the TubeBuddy channel, this is one of the things that gives me the opportunity through that sponsorship to come here and share additional information and help content creators that maybe haven't seen my regular YouTube channel, right? So it allows me to get in front of more people that way too. So it's a mutually beneficial thing. Same thing with the StreamYard channel. I stream over there, make content over there, just like I do here on the TubeBuddy channel. And those things are a fantastic way for me to get in front of more people, and it's good for the brands to have established content creators and creators that have authority in the space to come on and share credible and reliable information with their audiences as well. Why doing ads in don't listed videos kills the channel? I've tried more than 5 times and always the channel died and only shows the non-listed ad videos, ads for products, and a web. So the important thing to know about YouTube advertising is it doesn't kill the channel, but one thing that that is really important to make sure that you are aware of is that when you are using ads, as soon as you turn the ads off, then you have to go back to getting an organic response. And that's usually where everything kind of falls apart for people if they are using YouTube advertising for, you know, like growing the channel and stuff. So, oh, never mind. I just saw right here, you've got like 183,000 subscribers on your channel. Let's see what you're doing. Okay, I can't understand the language. So, you know, switching to AI thumbnails may have hurt or helped you. But the content itself is the thing that's going to carry the weight. So if you ran ads on your channel, I don't know if you did it through the promotions tab or, you know, exactly what it is that you did, but running ads itself shouldn't kill your channel. But, you know, you need to be able to, you know, get the response. So you got 183,000 subscribers. You have 143 videos. So that's not a lot of videos for what you've accomplished. So nice work on that, by the way. But when it comes to the content itself, you still have to be able to get people to click, and you still have to be able to create that, you know, that experience for, you know, for people to enjoy. So I'm looking at your stuff though, like, you know, everything like looks, I mean, I'm not like, you know, like listening to it or anything like that, but like it looks good with what it is that you're doing. I see that you're also using some Joe Rogan and some like Elon Musk clips and things like that. So depending on the topic of what it is that you're talking about, you know, that might cause some limitations. Other little things too is like you're using like, you know, emojis in the title, which is fine. But you know, that can be interruptive when it's like the first thing in your title, because those do translate as text in code. So, you know, there's that side of things too. But yeah, so the ads shouldn't damage the channel. So one thing that can happen that can work against your channel, because I've had to dig people out of these holes before, is sometimes when people run ads, they will run ads in low tier countries. So I'm in Thailand. So here in Thailand, just based on the economy here, when somebody buys advertising here in YouTube ads for the Thai audience, they don't have to pay a lot of money for those ads because, you know, like the ads or the people buying stuff and buying it online, it's just not as high, right? So because of that, you know, you can get ads here really, really cheap. Same with like, you know, India and the Philippines and, you know, places like that. So no shade on, you know, those countries, because I live in one of them. But like when it comes to advertising, you do want to make sure that you are advertising your channel and your content in front of the right audiences, because if you don't do that correctly, then what can happen is you have a lot of people coming in and interacting with your content that are not the right people. And then YouTube tries to recommend it to them and similar people. And when they don't respond to it, it tells YouTube system that it's not a good video because people aren't responding to it. And because it's showing it to the wrong people based on how you've trained it through the ads. And because of that, you know, that is one thing that can cause problems. But as long as you targeted your ads correctly, then it should support it more than killing the channel. But here's what you got to do. One is if you did have any content that you did run a lot of advertising to into the wrong audience, if that is something you're trying to fix, this is going to suck, but you need to, you know, delete those videos so you can kind of, I mean, you still got those people interacting. So the best thing that you can do is just leave everything as it is. Don't run any ads that are targeting the wrong people. If you are going to run ads for a while, just use the promotions tab inside of YouTube, because they go against your audience. But if you're in front of the wrong audience, they could still put it in front of the wrong people. Yeah. So I would focus on targeting just through the topic and through you know, through how you're actually packaging it up with your thumbnail and title, to make sure it's getting in front of, you know, the right people that way. Like it's better to have more of the right people clicking on it, or less of the right people clicking on it than a lot of the wrong people clicking on it when you're trying to, you know, teach the system who the right people are for the content. iCast Enterprises, glad you think so. Thank you for the kind words there. And let's see here. All right. So on that note, I hope everybody, you know, I hope you got some value out of this. Again, you know, we talked about a lot of things here. in the actual, information part of this live stream. So, one of the things that we talked about is, just cleaning up your channel in general for, 2024. But we also talked about like content strategy and how to think about, the videos that you're going to be publishing on your channel. So if you came in late, make sure you go and you watch this again so you can see that front part of it. But also make sure that if you're like, yeah, you know what, I'm not going to watch an hour or whatever, just listen to it. Like listen to it while you're driving or while you're on your way somewhere, or put in some headphones and listen to it. Because the information that I shared in here today, if you take it seriously and you do what I mentioned and you're being intentional about what it is that you're doing and you're thinking it all through, then, 2024 should be pretty amazing for you. If you do that, plus you build up the skills that I was talking about, building up, then 2024 should be pretty good for you. So make sure that you check out the replay of that. And, my name is Nick. If you've not been introduced to me before, I help content creators thrive on YouTube. So I've got a link to me in the description below this stream right now, so you can go and find my channel there. And if you've not tried TubeBuddy yet, TubeBuddy has over 90 different tools that will help you in all kinds of different ways with your YouTube channel. You can try it out for free at tubebuddy.com so you can see, what it can do for you. Besides that, last TubeBuddy stream of the year for me. So thank you, TubeBuddy, Team TubeBuddy, for letting me come on here. And I wish everybody a happy new year, and I wish you nothing but success and happiness and joy in 2024. And thank you so much for hanging out today, and I'll see you next year.